If you're interested in learning how to identify a potential betting system with Hedger Pro and set it up like I show in my Betting for a Living blog series available on YouTube and Substack, keep watching to the end of this video. It is a long one, but I kept everything in that's important to show you the process. So let's get started. Hello and thanks for stopping by the Betting for a Living blog part 4. Today I'm going to create a new betting system using the research tool within Hedger Pro. These 10 betting systems, the concepts to explore, are included in the first Betting for a Living blog. So I've picked one today, the favourite lay system, and I've created the system blank template over here ready to go. So I can get started and create a system that lays the favourite and races with a large field, i.e. 10 runners plus, or when the favourite is very short priced as well with these large fields, i.e. 3 or shorter. So we'll test this theory of laying the favourite in large fields and very short prices and see if it has actually got some mileage. If it hasn't, well, we'll soon find out. If it has, brilliant. I can demonstrate how to then put this into a set of systems that are maybe course specific and relate more to what you see in the Betting for a Living blog thread. Now, just back on that as a quick refresh, anyone that hasn't been following the blog post, where have you been? Get to hedgerpro.substack.com or type in Hedger Pro Substack in Google. It'll take you straight there. I'll put the link in the video as well down below and on the screen. And really just come and follow us. It's free to follow us so you can track my progress as I test systems, bet on them with specific amount of stakes over time and record my results. And these are the latest results in a post I put up yesterday. So betting £10 from the 4th of August to the 25th of August. No, it's from the 4th of August to the 10th of August. It was £1, and then from the 11th of August to the 25th, it was £10. So it was £1 initially, then £10 when I was happy with the system. And you can see now I've got £96.63p profit, and there's a good history of results that get populated for this system. So head on over to that Substack, and I'll publish this weekly, keep you updated on that, and as I add new systems, publish the results so you can see how I'm getting on, see if I can actually make this into a decent system that you can use to pay the bills, bet for a living. That's the goal. So back to today's goal, which is to create a system, just to refresh us, laying the favourite in a large field, 10 runners plus when the favourite is priced very short. So let's do that. Let's put these filters into Hedge Pro and see what we get. So the first things I want to add here are MTP. We need odds. We have odds rank, favourite, high number of runners, and we'll include distance and race number for now. So let's go there. Let's add all this in. Obviously it's just going to be a line going straight to hell because we haven't put any filters in. Okay, so what this is doing at 1 minute to post is looking at odds between 1 and 3. Odds rank of 1, so it's going to be the favourite at 1 minute to post, and they're the only filters we put in. So let's see how that works. So isn't this great that you've got the facility to test such a theory so quickly? So we've tested the theory of large field or when the favourite is very short priced. This ain't all when the favourite is very short priced. So let's take out those odds. Let's just put it in the favourite in large fields. That's even worse. Okay, so what this is telling us that if we want large fields of runners and we want to be looking to lay the favourite, the sweet spot with the odds range is here. That's definitely what it's telling us. So let us review the situation now, because that's still low odds. It's still under 3, but it's excluding all of these don't want to say it, but like bolted on horses, if you know what I mean. So let me see where we go from here. Okay. So overall, we have some profit. It's not going to be a huge amount of profit, but it's a profit. We could put this at fixed profit and see how this looks. It looks a bit better financially, a bit more appealing. But the issue with that is you can't scale it up with BSP, because BSP better always fixed liability. So let's put it back onto fixed liability and have a look at this and see where we could potentially make some changes. So the number of runners, we want it to be 10 upwards. It's saying here that it'd actually be better at 11 upwards, not 10. So if we run that, we see there is an improvement. And then we go back to the odds. We see by making that change, it's expanded our odds range a little bit further. So we do that, we can see that now we're getting a decent amount of points over time. But this still has potential. Whereas some people may write this off. It's a very simple system, isn't it? Loads of runners laying the favour at a specific odds range. If it has got that amount of runners. But what I've been doing with my recent systems is looking at the course classification. I do have that included sometimes. I do also find weight and age is very useful. Let's include these as well. So with the runners set at 11 to 25, which seems to be the sweet spot here, and the odds between 2.08 and 2.62, which Hedger Pro is telling us here is the sweet spot. Odds rank 1, so that's the favourite at 1 minute to post. You can see overall it does make a profit. It is a low odds system and it does have some kind of edge. But as a system to run, it's not really going to be anything that you would just jump on and run it as it is at the moment, which is kind of how we've been doing it from the start when we first began producing systems with Hedger Pro. What I want is to break everything down into individual parts so I can go in and adjust and assess the individual performance of each system, make any tuning changes, know on a daily basis exactly what systems and bets to expect. And when it comes to building systems around that, it makes it much easier to then get systems and ideas and build around it and avoid duplicate bets, i.e. a back going on a lay or two backs or two lays going on the same horse, etc. Anyway, I digress. So this concept of lay the favourite, large field, 10 runners or plus. Yeah, this is how it looks overall, and it's amazing Hedger Pro gives you the facility to check this so quickly. Now, what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go across course by course and give a few examples of using these extra filters that I've put in the background as kind of tuning filters around the core concept, which the core concept is, of course, high number of runners, favourite at low odds up to a maximum of 3. So starting off at Chelmsford, which is the one I've just put in, and you can see what I've done here. So I've reduced the number of runners, well I've brought it down, sorry, to between 7 upwards of runners. The odds rank I've expanded a little bit, but it's still up to the maximum of 3. It's actually going not to 3, 2.66, and the race number is race number 1 to 6 at Chelmsford. Additionally, have also excluded conditions. Now that's it. So I'll be laying the favourite in a good field of runners of 8 upwards, stopping at race number 6 on the day at Chelmsford, excluding conditions, low odds on the favourite. And over the 55-month period that we're looking at here, that's 46 points with a max drawdown of 3 points. Not bad. Over the past few months, it's 1 point with a max drawdown of 2 points. So it's not been perfect over the last few months, but there's been bets. Typical kind of betting activity you can see from the history, because it is a lay the favourite system. But that is very good, and it's always consistently bouncing over the line of best fit, which which again is a really good key indicator, especially when you're dealing with a favourite lay-in system. Strike rate really good past few months, and the full period at 74 months, 74%. Sorry, can't get my words out today. So let's now take this and go through course by course. So we've done Chelmsford. Yeah, it's very encouraging. Let's try and get these filters and get them to work somewhere else. So let's do the course that's making no money, and the course that is making no money with these filters is Newcastle. Let's see if we can get a tune out of it at Newcastle, making some adjustments. So if I copy this, all I would do, I'd work through the systems. I would usually start at the top. Nope, what we're doing, Newcastle, yep, and then we will turn Chelmsford off. It's going to dive straight to hell. There it goes. Let's save that and test the concept. So we're laying the favourite at Newcastle. This is the... So at Newcastle, let us go back to the original plan of the high field. For start, we can get rid of that race number. We don't need that. And we don't need to exclude conditions. No. And we want it to be under 3 or less for the odds. So this is telling us this is the sweet spot. There we go. When I lay in the favourite in a large runner field, 11 upwards. Yeah. Saying that 2 minutes to post is better than 1 minute to post. Okay, well, we'll take your word for it, Hedger Pro, because you're the one who's got all the data. We haven't. And we could just have a little look at this. Okay, so this is all looking about right. Decent strike rate, alright number of bets, not much in the past few months, and we don't really want to restrict it too much because the bet volume isn't too high. But for a course, let's have a look at this. 4 minutes to post. No, the yield is better. Okay, so for a lay the favourite system at Newcastle, the only thing I really want to exclude here is hurdle, so we're going to exclude that, and that really smartens it up a little bit. So we've got 2 systems now. Favourite lay system at Chelmsford, favourite lay system at Newcastle. Okay, so we've got 2 systems so far that I've created for this approach, for Chelmsford and one for Newcastle. Now, as you go through and create these for each course, it's going to build up a system that will, I would guess, is going to return an average annual points profit of around about 200 points. The yield is going to be very high. The AE is going to be very high. The average and expected. Your liability, your max DD is going to be very low overall, so you can ramp it up with your staking without, risking your mortgage. And the annual returns, at about £10 per bet, are going to make this very worthwhile with minimum risk. Not to mention, although I'm going to mention it, that you could then step it up to BSP as well. So it is very, very scalable when you create it this way. And you're just literally going through and making it a course specific system. This was just taking one idea, this lay system, just creating one generic lay system, and from that making it course specific. If you can see some potential in something, it's always going to be better if you break it down whether it be course, whether it be months of the year, whether you just focus on specific days of the week and then fine tune it that way. Whether you look at class, for example, or you're looking at runners and distance, whatever angle that you want to put in, kind of sort of last time out information. If you want to look at horses that did a specific thing last time out, for example, if a horse was fancied to finish last time out, it was fancied to finish last time out favourite, for example, but then it finished way back. Those sort of horses can be red flags. Whatever angle that you want to come up at here and create, you just create one system, see some potential in it, and then you can break it down and then make them individual systems for whatever kind of category that you want to focus on and spread it across. And then from there, you've got much more control and insight into what you're doing. I hope that's clear. So let's do one more. Just while we're at it, let's do like a mid-range one that with these settings. I mean, I turn these settings off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's just choose one at random. Let's as long as it's not island, let's just choose air. And I am gonna copy this and oops, yeah, I did copy it all right. Turn off Chelmsford. So that is just air. Yep. You see there, we've just got air selected. So we're going to turn off all this race number. We just want to start with the core concept of a high number of runners, and within this kind of odds range that we're working at. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, so we've got a high number of runners. It's telling us that the odds range is still within 3. It's still the favourite that we're obviously focused on there, the odds rank 1. But look at that, straight away. We've got a tune out of it immediately. So we'll just expand that number of runners. Okay, it hasn't given us the best result by expanding that number of runners, but we want it to be a high number of runners. We don't want to be heading down here. We want the core concept to be where we want it to be. That has changed it a little bit with the odds, but still giving us a decent favourite range to work in. Seems to be making it worse. That's okay. We can just go all the way back. And we're back to where we were. This odds range seems to be okay, actually. Yeah, it gives us a bit of scope. Performance, strike rate, yield, AE, decent number of races, performance over time. Let's have a look at the classifications. If anything is a standout that isn't doing us any favours, we can exclude that. It gives it a little bit, giving it a boost. It's dropped it over the past few months, but it has. Yes, that's interesting. So excluding the conditional over the past few months and overall actually hasn't worked in our favour. So we don't need to exclude that. That's fine. Put the number of runners. So still a high number of runners, but it's not like gigantic fields. So it's still high fields there. That makes things a little bit better. Let's see if any of these other filters that I like to include and keep track on. The weight of the horse. No, that has not been able to be deployed in any of these examples today. Let's bring this down here, so it's still a high number of runners, 9 to 13. That's added to it. Definitely, we've got a good yield. Everything looks nice and healthy. Obviously, there's been a period here, but it is a favourite lay-in system, and the strike rate is superb. There's something to be very excited about with that strike rate. Let's just play nicely with the odds and do what it's telling us to do. Even though I really want to go up there, I'm trying to stay within the sort of rule book. Okay, so I mean, it's still a very low odds lay system and it is fixed liability, so let's go up here and see what we get. Look at that. Look at that. What an absolute diamond in the rough. That is excellent. Now, is there anything here that we could exclude that would make that even better? Now I'm looking at the yield, AE, everything's looking really nice. Strike rate is going to make it better. Not really. How about if we add a bit of weight on the horse? That does smooth things out a little bit, doesn't it? The yield is way nicer. Yeah, so at this example I'm able to add in a weight filter that has had a positive effect on the yield, a very significant effect on the yield. And if I just have a look here and then exclude these again, see how this works now. No, we don't need to exclude them. Not needed. Not needed at all. Absolutely fine as it is. Base number not relevant. Distance. Let's see if the distance makes a difference. No, it's negative. Yeah, so that's perfect. It's telling me here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all good. Probably get more runners, but I want to keep it to a decent amount of runners. So this one at air now, we've got high number of runners still, added a bit of weight on, that's a factor. The odds range, we've gone over the 3 a little bit, just 3.6, give ourselves a bit of leeway there. It's still laying the favourite in these fields where it's 9 to 13 runners, and this is what we're looking at overall for this favourite lane system. Strike rate 83, 89 over the past few months. Fantastic profit there. And we just build our systems. I do, course by course at the moment. At the moment, because I am exploring all avenues with Hedger Pro. We've got a new version coming out soon as well, so there'll be new opportunities there. But at the moment, I'm making course specific. This is taking one idea, as I explained, and just literally testing it, do a validity test, so I can prove the concept. If there's any sort of concept or anything there that sparks my interest, I can then break it down, as I've shown here, course by course. I go over every single course and I would make the parameters, whatever they are, from this list that I've decided to add in. And I've mentioned a few there earlier on. I've worked with or explored, and there's so much that I haven't explored yet. And then I'll just add a few in here, and then just to add extra fine tuning around the core concept. But the core concept will always evolve around the original idea. So I will have an original idea. I will go in, I'll put the original idea in, test proof of concept. If it works, look at how I'm going to break it down. In this case, it's by course, and add some of my sort of favorite tuning filters, if you like, around that. And these are just a few that I work with. I've got others over here that I work with as tuning filters, but I've just used these as an example. And there you go. Okay, so we end up with 3 unique systems that operate course specific. They can then begin building up. That obviously run well together. There's not going to be any overlap because they are course specific. And if you create a complete portfolio of these per race course, you're going to end up somewhere around circa 200 points per annum. Fixed liability labor, which, as I said, is scalable. So I won't repeat myself. Just to give you an example today of how you can pick up one of these ideas. I will pick up another idea from this list, or maybe add another list in the next Betting for a Living blog post. Remember that you can follow my progress over on the Hedger Pro Substack. So it's hedgerpro.substack.com, or search for it within Google, Hedger Pro Substack, and you can follow my progress. I'll just publish this one now. I put the part 3.5 in yesterday. Yeah, any questions, get in touch anytime via Hedger Pro, via the Substack, or drop me an email at ryan@hedgerpro.co.uk. I'll come back to you. The next update will be on Tuesday, Wednesday next week. I've got some new portfolio bet systems that I'm releasing for members to import into Hedger Pro. They'll be available on Monday. So if you are interested in that, go to portfoliobet.co.uk, and then you can access the lay systems and the original portfolio bet systems there. But for now, I'll leave that with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next week.